relatively big network of being anonymous anymore. People don't know who you are. People are obsessed with TV, you know, and social media has, you know, sort of now here to stay. Anybody want to just tackle the, you know, do any of you, you know, follow people, what people say about you?
Experience with social media because of scandal. I think some friends are here tonight. Twitter fans of scandal are like, oh, you're going to be Montclair, I'm coming. Literally, that's why that show's a success, because of our fans and the ability to communicate. I sort of poo-pooed it at first because it freaked me out. I thought 140 characters, that's what's wrong with our society. And yet I saw the immense power of this exponential, you know, algorithm, or whatever you would call it, you know, where you can talk to one person and then talks to 10 people and that becomes 1,000 and then, you know, and then hundreds of thousands and millions of people are all talking to each other. And, you know, it's a very powerful force. And for marketing and for communication and for entertainment and to be able to get the word out, you know. So I in, you know, a couple of years have become very enamored of it and feel that it's still constantly changing and we haven't seen anything yet. So it's certainly, I'm in awe of its power.
Can I just ask, do you get nothing but positive response on Twitter? Because for anybody who's ever gotten, you know, been on the receiving end of the negative side of that, it can be really brutal. I mean, it really
can be. I'm really lucky. I mean, because it was funny. I was on Jimmy Kimmel the other week, and they have a segment they do where Jimmy will read out all of the pick mean tweets about you. And thank you, Shonda Rhimes, but people don't trash me too bad on Twitter, and people are really nice, you know, generally pretty nice. But I know it can get extremely vicious, and that's what you can block people and do. There are remedies.
I get trashed a lot, and it's part of the deal. Although I start blocking people, you know, I came in when Maloney was leaving, and he left of his own accord, but I got, how dare you break up Olivia and Elliot? And people are so attached to that relationship that I broke up Mom and Dad. And so it took a while to get the thick skin for that. I do find I don't think SVU would still be on if it weren't for Twitter. Because no one's promoting a show 15 years in. But Twitter gets the word out about who's on, what. You can, you know, if I came in at a theater, the first time I had an episode on TV, it was the most depressing experience of my life. The episode ended, and I turned it off. And I was like, "Well, so that's TV." And there was no audience. There was no. I was used to a live audience, and there was none. And I just didn't. I was like, "Did anybody see it? How would I ever?" It didn't have any of the juice that I was used to. Twitter now gives you that. You get feedback during the show. To get some, I don't know why it's become so important, but to be trending nationally with a hashtag for your episode.
A standing ovation.
You really feel good about that. And if you're trending nationally, figure a lot of people don't know what they're going to watch tonight. And if on Twitter and all of you on Twitter now should tweet hashtag trust Benson for tonight. That's our hashtag for tonight. People will see that, and you can see the numbers going up by the quarter hour on episodes. I don't know which, on episodes that are catching fire on Twitter, the second half hour numbers go up appreciably. And people are finding this, wow, a good one tonight. And you know, conversely, man, this one's dull. And you can see people leaving the theater or coughing. It's the Twitter equivalent of coughing, right? Yeah. I think it's incredibly interactive in a way that I had been used to, and I like it. Although the abuse becomes bizarre at times because there's some crazy people out, probably right here.
I actually don't get involved in any of this stuff because I can barely still dial a telephone. But there was, for a time, I don't think it exists anymore, but there was a website, Why We Hate Tom Fontana. And I actually never saw it because I don't know how to, but one of my brothers saw it, and he said, oh, it's really quite funny because every time you kill someone on one of your shows, there are these long tirades about how you are an idiot and you should be taken off the air and all this stuff. And he said, but what's amazing about it, and this is probably what you're experiencing, is they keep coming back, and so you're obviously doing something, because then it gets very affectionate towards you. Like, we don't really want you to die. So, I don't know. That was my only real experience with negative feedback, because I ignore everything else.
There are people who've been heckling our Twitters, me, I guess, for 3 years on SVU, and every episode ends, and the same people, and it's like, why are you still watching? But it's some kind of bad cycle of violence.
You know, it's kind of inevitable. My personal goals in life are to avoid forever prescription medicine and social media. And so far, I'm at 1,000. But it's important to the shows, like we had the actors do it and the other writers would do it. And I know I'll get dragged into it someday, but so far I've avoided it. You know, I get it's important, but you know, if I'm a fan, I'd probably rather be tweeting with the star of the show than you know, some bald guy that sits in the back.
Let's just set the record straight sometimes. Bad rumors come out. You know, Mariska's leaving the show, and it's not true, and it'll spread like wildfire. And you can just go right on and say not true, and it gets picked up by a lot of different places. And that's incredibly helpful, because the news cycle is fast now.
Yeah.
And I'd like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it used to be really a passive thing, watching TV, and you had no way to have a relationship with the show that, you know, you were watching, but now, you know, that relationship, you know, not only exists, but it's very real for people, and, you know, they want to interact, and then just from the network point of view, you know, we now measure this stuff, you know, I get the amounts of raw data that comes across my desk. I do. Tom's just shaking because I know you a little bit. I know that you can't even send your own email. You're like, but the truth is, you know, now we've figured out how to measure social engagement, and it's an important part of the whole business metric of TV. So just Tom, how are we doing? Are we 8:30? 8:30. All right. So you know what? I think we were supposed to be wrapped up, but I do want to leave a few minutes for